One day my older girl comes to me and says, Daddy, did you know that when you went for a trip overseas, I would cry quietly. My Clementi residents tell me that the older I started out, actually counting back now, it's nearly 20 years ago, and this was in Ulu Pandan with Dr. Vivian Balakrishnan. So he was the MP, overall in charge for our area. And I started out as MPS volunteer. Well, you can be volunteers, you can be someone understudying an existing MP, but nothing quite fully prepares you for holding the role than actually being in the role itself. And it's quite, I would say it's quite all-consuming. It's because you're always, a bit of you is always worrying about whether your residents are okay, whether there's something that needs to be done to make their lives better. So even when you're having downtime at home with family, there's a bit of you that's always thinking about the town, thinking about your residents. And so what I would also say is anyone who puts themselves forward for election to be an MP, regardless of whichever team you're on, regardless of your political persuasion, regardless of which party, these are folk who really deserve our respect as fellow Singaporeans. I've got two daughters. The elder one is now in secondary 2. So she was about 3 years old, 4 years old, that age when I entered politics. So I guess she kind of remembers a time before I was an MP. But those were when she was very young. The younger one, she's in primary 2. So actually, all her life, she's only known Daddy as someone who's an MP and having to look after a town and go out at night on weekends. It's so the kids feel it. The kids feel it, and that's why actually for all the young parents who are in politics, and we know there are young parents, on both sides of the house in politics, across different political parties, some candidates, some as MPs on different persuasions, and you really salute the young parents as well. After I stepped away from being a political office holder, so for a while I was in MTI and MFA, so that's Trade and Industry and Foreign Affairs. And in MTI and MFA, you have to do a lot of overseas trips because you have to front Singapore's interests, you have to advocate for Singapore overseas. When you're a small country, you kind of gotta you gotta go there and meet with people lah. You can't assume people are gonna come and meet with you. So you have to go around different parts of the world. And so that meant quite a lot of official travel, representing Singapore, speaking up for Singapore. And after I stepped away from doing all these official overseas trips, one day my older girl comes to me and says, Daddy, did you know that when you went for a trip overseas, I would cry quietly, but I never wanted to let you see me cry because you might feel bad about fighting for Singapore, fighting for companies to bring factories and jobs to Singaporeans. And when that moment happens, you feel it lah, you feel it. And sometimes the family, and I think this applies to all who are in politics, all young parents in politics. Sometimes the kids don't always tell you the weight of it till afterwards. What was very interesting and that happens in the later few years was how some of our speeches could go viral internationally. So there was this budget debate speech last year, and it was on AI. And no country, no economy can hide from these changes in the world with AI. And then one day I get a message from a resident who says, Dr. Tan, your speech is being circulated around the world. And I thought to myself, Zunbo. Then Then I went to the link, and then turns out it was going viral across a few different channels. Not my actual post lah, because my social media following is not that big. But I think people had taken a clip, and it was being circulated in a number of countries around the world. And I think there was one channel at 8 million views, another 1 million here and there, and it was just surprising. I even had residents saying their relatives overseas had forwarded it back to them. So I think it was a surprising moment. I guess looking back, what it tells us is that people around the world are interested in what Singapore Parliament is saying. Not just the ministers, but the backbenchers. And that just drives home the unique and special responsibility that backbenchers have. Because people are actually looking at not just at what the ministers say, but what the backbenchers are saying. And it's also a reminder that Singapore is relevant to the world, and we have to keep it that way lah. Because if we're not relevant, no one's going to listen to what anyone is saying in our parliament.